Good morning, everybody. Sorry
Hello.
for starting right on the minutes this morning. Just working through some connectivity issues, but affiliate is with us now, which is fantastic. We'll just give it a moment or so for a few more people to join. We're expecting around about 30-35 people this morning, although I'm aware that some people sometimes register so that they get the recording, after which everybody will receive. So we'll very quickly get started in a moment and give you a great overview of Yooz AP automation this morning. So we'll get started in just a moment's time. Before I hand over to Philly, I would just like to say to everyone this morning, the chat itself is actually disabled, but the question and answer section is actually enabled, so you can either start a discussion on there or create a question post, which we'll see come through. So I'll be monitoring that as we go through. So without much further ado, the session is being recorded, but feel free to pop questions as we go through. There will be some time to ask those questions and get answers to those questions at the end. If there are any latecomers and stragglers, I'll just let them through as they come through. But I'm going to swiftly pass over to Philly from Yooz, who's going to give you a really good overview this morning. I'm excited to see some of the latest and greatest bits as well. I'm not seeing an update of the solution for a little while. So I'm going to pass over to yourself, Philly, over to you.
Thank you so much, Michael. Hello, everyone. So yes, today I'm going to give you an overview of Yooz. So if you have any question, just drop it into the chat. And Michael, do not hesitate to let me know if you see some questions while I'm presenting my screen, because I might don't see it straight away. So yeah, happy to answer any questions. So I'm going to share my screen and just making sure that everyone is seeing my screen right now.
Yes.
Perfect. So first of all, I'm Ophélie, so I'm a senior sales consultant at Yooz. I used to work on Sage 50, Sage 200, and now I'm focusing on Sage Intacct, so I know Sage quite well. And today, this is a presentation of Yooz AP automation. So Yooz is the name of the solution, but it's also the name of the company. So before we begin, as I said, please do not hesitate to send questions on the chat. Leave your feedback with some comments if you want. And obviously this session is going to be recorded, so you can watch the recording anytime. So the agenda of today. So we will have an introduction of Yooz for those who don't know the solution or the company. So I will do a quick introduction about who we are, where we come from. Second point will be why you need to switch to a digital AP automation with Yooz. So coming from a manual process to an AP automation. So we will see different reasons, and hopefully you are already aware why you should opt for an AP automation. And then we will have also a live demonstration. So obviously it's not going to be the entire feature of Yooz because we have a limited time, but I will show you the main features that we have. And obviously you will have time to ask any questions during this demonstration. So that's why, to finish, we will have a Q&A session where I will just save a little bit of time to answer all the questions that you might have during the live demonstration that we will do together. Perfect. So who we are. Sorry, I'm just going to put the timer because I want to make sure that I don't take too long. There we go. So about Yooz. So Yooz is a French company that was created back in 2010. For the little history, Yooz is the sister company of ITsoft. ITsoft is an AP automation which is on-premise that was created in the south of France. So it's the same person who created Yooz and ITsoft. So why I'm explaining this? It's because we benefit from ITsoft technology. So that's why we have a very strong OCR and smart data extraction capability, because we have ITsoft that have been created in the 80s, and Yooz is the cloud version of ITsoft that can help any sector, any sizes of companies. A huge success since the creation of Yooz. So we know 40% growth every year. So we have a very important growth. So that's why we decided very quickly to expand. So we have now offices in the US and in Europe. We have an office in the south of France, which is the main European headquarter where I'm based. And we have another headquarter in Dallas, Texas, where all the Canadian and NORAM activities are handled from there. So Yooz in a few KPIs. This is more than 1,000 R&D men working on AP automation and always looking for the newest feature for our clients. Yooz is reinvesting 25% of the income into research and development, because we are always trying to provide the latest feature and listen to our clients' feedback. As an example, I will show you during the live demonstration the vendor statement reconciliation. That is a new feature that we launched end of last year that was developed specifically for the UK market. So that's just an example of the different features that we developed, and we have a roadmap that is very, very full. We have one single focus, which is the document automation. So Yooz will help companies to streamline their processes, have more visibility and control, and obviously more security when it comes to accounts payable processes. Our business model is a little bit different than other solutions. We are a solution that is 100% based on documents. So you will benefit of an unlimited number of user licenses within the system, an unlimited number of entities, companies, organizational units. So basically, Yooz is purely based on the number of invoices that you will process per month, per year, we adapt. So this is a very specific business model that allows Yooz to help companies processing from 50 invoices per month up to 100,000 invoices per month. So we are present in more than 40 countries now. So the main market that we are operating are French market, then UK market, Spanish market, US market, but we are also present in UAE, Germany, Belgium, South Africa. So we are a little bit everywhere. We have more than 5,000 clients, 200,000 companies, 300,000 users, and we process more than 200 million documents a year. So those KPIs give you a little bit of the size of Yooz and the power of Yooz, and the growth is continuing. So hopefully this is going to continue for a lot of years. So we have, obviously, because we are worldwide, we have a support and that is global. So we have support in the UK, which is available by phone, email, and chats. And we speak more than 30 different languages. After this quick presentation, I would like to focus on Yooz partner. So we work with the biggest accounting firms that exist. So you can see some of this here. And we also work with different partners, like Sage, for example. And we are recognized worldwide with certifications that you can see at the bottom of this slide. So why do you need to switch to digital AP with Yooz? That's the second point that we are going to see together. So maybe some of you are still using manual processes. I'm sure some of you do that. This is okay. I mean, I totally understand. So basically, this is how your process must look like right now. So you still have some paper documents. You need to chase supplier. You need to chase colleagues for approval. You need to pick up the phone. When you receive an invoice, you are wondering where does it come from? Is it approved? Is it paid? So this is a lot of questions and a lot of time that is wasted when you can have in place an AP automation solution that will help you remove the manual task, the repetitive task, and have more visibility, and obviously save everything in Yooz, so you don't have to store hard copies anymore. So you should go for a modern P2P process. So with Yooz, on an accounting point of view, you will benefit from a paperless reception of invoices. Yooz is going to automate your capture of documents. So we have different ways to do this. Yooz will also automate the coding of your invoices thanks to machine learning. Obviously, when it's linked to a PO, Yooz is going to automate the PO matching with all your open POs by itself. And then it will route automatically all the invoices to the correct recipient for approval, verification, payment. That's the transition to the second very important pillar of Accounts Payable, which is the approval. I see a lot of prospects that send emails. They need to stamp an invoice. They need to send the invoice by email to their approvers. They need to wait for him to send it back, and so on and so on. If you have someone that is on holidays, then you need to wait so he can approve, and then you can process the invoice. So everything delays the process of your AP process. So with Yooz, you will have the possibility to do bulk approval. So we will send invoices in a bulk to the correct recipient. You will receive live notifications. You can receive it by email, and you can receive it also on the Yooz mobile app. So you don't have to be in front of the computer to open Yooz and approve documents. You can receive it directly on your mobile. If you are on a business trip, if you are traveling, then you can just open the Yooz mobile app and click on approve, reject, put a comment, search document on the Yooz mobile app, which is very practical. Also, you will have automatic budget validation. Some of you might use budgets in terms of approval criteria. So if you have a specific budget that is allocated to a specific invoice, then Yooz will flag this and send it to the budget holder automatically, and so on and so on. And obviously, as I said, you will have notifications, but you can also have reminders. If you want to have documents approved within the next 48 hours, then we can flag the document as late. After this period of time, you will receive an email with your late task, and we can put an alert within the system saying those invoices are being late. And if this is necessary, we can escalate to another user by itself. So Yooz is going to send those invoices still not approved to another recipient by itself. So now the third pillar will be the reporting. I know this is very important for you to have visibility on what's happening, your accrual, the open POs that you might have, the invoices waiting to be approved. So within Yooz, we will save everything. So you will have an automated archiving within the system. So we won't delete anything, and you will have the possibility to search and create dynamic reports in just one click. You can create reports based on any criteria. You can create report based on a vendor, on document type, on specific amount, specific department, specific cost center, specific task in progress. So all these criteria will be able to help you create your customized reports, and you can save them. They will be dynamic, which means every time you will capture a document that matches one of your saved dynamic report, it will be added into the report by itself. You don't have to save the document into the reports. And you will also benefit from a Google-like search engine, which is very, very practical. I will show you an example. You can type in the search bar any keyword, and it will find you the document that has this keyword somewhere on the document, because Yooz is a full body text reading engine. So even if you type banana and you have 2 or 3 invoices with the word banana on it, then it will find you the invoices. It's not based on the document number or the vendor. You can type any keyword. And obviously, we will save everything that happened on the document. This is the legal audit trail that will be available in Yooz. You will be able to see who approved it, who reviewed it, if you block the document, if you send an email to the supplier from Yooz, If you put a comment, everything will be saved in Yooz, and you can check it anytime, even in the past. For example, if you have an audit, you can create an access to the person doing the audit. You give to this person a read-only access, and she can search any document for a specific period of time and check the audit trail of all the documents without asking you to help. And the last one is the invoicing that is ready. So Yooz is a solution that is looking and is very proactive. So we are looking at the invoicing from the very beginning. So in France, it's coming soon. So we are already certificated as an invoicing solution to receive specific format for France, Italy, Germany, Belgium, and it's going to be maybe soon in the UK. So obviously we will be compliant with the UK. Up, sorry, I don't know why it's not moving. There we go. So the current state, this is some KPIs that we got from customers. So right now, based on the analysis that we did, we saw that it takes between 22 to 35 days to process an invoice. When with Yooz, it's going to take 2 to 3 days. In terms of cost, obviously, this is very expensive to archive documents when you don't have any AP automation. With Yooz, it's going to be very, very cheap. You will save a lot of time. So obviously, you will pay your vendor early. So that will remove late payments. So obviously, this is very important for your relationship with your supplier as well. Obviously, Yooz is going to help detecting any duplicate or wrong payment or bad payments. So Yooz is flagging any bank details that doesn't match the bank details coming from Sage. Yooz is going to flag any duplicate invoices based on your criteria. When this is the same vendor, the same document number, the same amount, you can ask Yooz to reject any documents. So this is completely eliminated. Fraud attempt as well. We have a fraud detection feature that will help detecting any document that have been modified with a third-party system. And obviously, as I explained with my previous example, we will also help you and facilitate the audit because I know audit can be very complicated for you. So we expect between 70 to 85% reduction in cost and workload. That's the purpose of Yooz. So this is just a sum up of why you should choose Yooz. So obviously, it's going to reduce the cost. It's fully compliant, fraud detection. It's a smart data extraction that happens in real time. So this is purely AI based. We don't have any template. You don't need to map new suppliers with Yooz. Yooz is going to read and extract data from the first time it receives the invoice in the dashboard. And obviously, it's going to happen in real time. You don't need to wait 2 hours or 1 day to have the document ready to be processed. It's very user-friendly. You will see it during the live demonstration. We try to make a solution, to create a solution that is very easy to implement and easy to use, very ergonomic. You don't need to click everywhere. You just have an interface that is making your life easier. And also we have a gain in terms of visibility. You stop losing documents, and then it will share real-time data with your ERP system. So now if we look a little bit deeper within the process of Yooz itself, what Yooz is going to do. So I'm going to focus today on Sage Intacct and Sage 200 because we are seamlessly connected with those two ERP systems. So when it comes to this diagram, it describes the main step where Yooz is going to help you to automate your processes. So the first step will be the purchase. So maybe some of you don't raise any purchase orders or purchase requests at the moment, so that's totally fine. Yooz has been built into different modules with the aim of being adapted to each client needs. So this is Yooz who adapts to the clients and not the clients who adapts to the solution. So if you don't need this purchase module, you will just start your process at the capture step. But if you do some, if you are raising some purchase orders or purchase requests, you have the possibility to do it directly within Yooz. We have this feature, so you can create purchase requests, purchase orders. You can also control the reception of the goods within Yooz, and it will send your purchase request into a dedicated workflows for approval. So you make sure that all the purchase requests will be approved by the relevant people before it is sent to your supplier. If for some reason you raise POs or purchase requests within an external system, for example, Sage Intacct, Sage 200, or even a specific system specific to your industry, for example, that's totally fine because Yooz has the possibility to import POs directly from Sage Intacct or Sage 200 and also from third-party system. The next step will be capturing your invoices. So obviously we have different ways to do this. We can capture from a simple drag and drop. We can capture from an email. We can capture from a live picture from the Yooz mobile app. And what we provide as well is what we call the Get My Invoice, which is a new tool that we provide, which will go on your supplier portals such as Amazon, British Gas, Vodafone, those kind of suppliers that don't send the invoices by email anymore. You need to go on your supplier portal and download the invoices every month, every week. So you don't have to do this anymore because Yooz is going to go on your portal and integrate the new invoices that have been released for you. So all those channels will be used to capture your document. It will detect any duplicates and reject the duplicate documents. And Yooz obviously is capable of capturing any format. It can be a Word, an Excel, PNG, whatever. And Yooz is going to convert all the invoices into a PDF format. After it's been captured, Yooz is going to AI-based data extraction your document. So Yooz is going to read the entire document, identify your supplier, because from Sage Intacct and Sage 200, we will import all your data such as vendors, chart of accounts, dimensions. So we will have all your data within Yooz, and this is how Yooz is going to identify your supplier for you, extract the dates, document number, PO number, and all the amounts. So all the manual tasks that you do at the moment will be removed because Yooz is going to do it thanks to AI. After Yooz has extracted those information in real time, Yooz is going to either do a reconciliation with one of your open PO, if it sees any PO number or PO numbers on your invoice. If there is no PO linked to your invoice, then it will automate the GL coding. Yooz has what we call machine learning. So once you have coded your invoice for the first time, Yooz is going to remember the same GL coding for the next time. So you don't have to do it twice. And after, we also provide approval workflows at the invoice level. So again, this is one of the best features that we provide because you can use any criteria, an amount, a vendor, a cost center, a budget, even a custom field can be used to create specific routes and ask Yooz to send the document to the relevant user for approval, and you can have as many steps as you want. You can also do parallel approval. For example, if you have a 3-line split with 3 different cost center or 3 different budgets, you want the document to be sent to all the 3 different budget holders at the same time, then this is possible. Yooz is going to send the document to the 3 different budget holder simultaneously. After it's been approved, then obviously Yooz is seamlessly integrating with Sage Intacct and Sage 200. So we will push back all the data to your ERP system. We will push the PDFs, obviously, and any attachments to your ERP system. So you can either pay from Sage, or if you want to run the payment in Yooz, we have the possibility to generate BACS files, payment files in Yooz as well. So I hope it was clear. This is just the big picture of how Yooz is going to help you processing your documents and automating your process from A to Z. Before we jump onto the live demonstration, sorry, Michael, is there any question yet, or is it okay for me to continue?
Yeah, nothing come through so far, so
okay.
Yeah, feel free to push on.
Perfect. So during this live demonstration, obviously, I want to focus on the top 5 features and benefits of Yooz. Well, it says 5 minutes, but it might take a little bit longer. But basically, the first one that we are going to see is how to capture and the OCR and smart data extraction that we talked about. Then the automated GL coding and automated 2-3-way match, PO matching Obviously, this is very important when you raise POs. We will also do a focus on the dynamic workflow for approvals, which is, as I said, one of the best features we provide. Then we will also see how data will be pushed into Sage Intacct and Sage 200, because this is very, very important to see the big picture and the process until the end, because I'm pretty sure you want to see how data will look like once pushed from Yooz to Sage. And the last one that we are going to see is the vendor statement reconciliation, which is very, very powerful, and we developed it specifically for the UK market. So I'm gonna log in into Yooz. There we go. So you should still see my screen. To log in into Yooz, it's very simple. You will all link, sorry, from the same URL. And then you will just put your email address and password. Obviously, Yooz is supporting the single sign-on and multi-factor authentication for more security. And when you log in into the system, so I'm just going to log from a specific link because this is a demo platform up. So you will arrive onto Yooz, and depending on the role that you have within Yooz and the task that you are supposed to do, you will see and get access to different things. Because Yooz, as I said, is role-based. So in the users, you will see all the list of the existing users that have access to your Yooz dashboard. And depending on what they are supposed to do, they will have specific roles. So if I'm just supposed to approve documents, then I will have only an approver role. But if I'm supposed to, I don't know, raise purchase orders within Yooz, then I will have the role of purchase requisitioner. I can be also an administrator of Yooz account. And in that case, I will have access to everything. So you will see all the different roles that are preset, but you can personalize the role if you need to. My point is to insist on the fact that you will be restricted if necessary. You won't be able to see all the documents of everyone unless you are authorized. And same for the task. If you are not supposed to make any purchase request, then obviously you won't have this button available because this is 100% flexible and you can restrict in terms of functionalities and access. So in my example of today, we have this platform. I am set up as an admin, so I have access to all my different entities. So if you have several entities, several companies, you can create the companies within the same platform. And if, for example, I'm just supposed to work for the London company, you can restrict me and say, Ophélie will have access only to the London company when she logs in into Yooz. So I will see only the document that I'm supposed to process and belonging to the London company. So what we are going to do today, we are going to capture, which is the first step, capture invoices together. So as I said, we have different ways to do this. We can, for example, do a simple drag and drop. I'm going to capture a PO-based invoice. I will flag my invoice in red, for example, and I click on import. Quite easy, very convenient. And Yooz, with this invoice, is going to put the document into a using phase. So during this using phase, this is the AI smart data extraction that is happening. So what I explained to you is that Yooz right now, as I speak, is reading the entire document that I captured, is detecting who is the supplier, and obviously is extracting the dates, the amounts, the due date, the document number, and checking if there is any PO number on the document to do the automated matching. If you want, you can also send documents via email, which is very simple. If I go here in the capture, I will have my email, Yooz email address. And if I want, I can send a new email. I can put urgent, for example, in the corp of the email. And then I will capture an invoice. Why I put urgent? Because I can also ask Yooz to put what we call advanced rules with the email capture, which says, okay, whenever I have in the email subject urgent, I want to flag my document in red. So this is specific rules that you can put in place. and this will be applied by the system. So if I go back in my capture history, I can see that my email has already been received. My second document, my second invoice attached, is already being used by the system. And I can see that it has been sent from my email address to the Yooz one, and the capture source was email capture. So if you already use a dedicated email address for your supplier to send invoices, you just need to put an automated forward from your dedicated email address to the Yooz one that we will provide you. And you can use several ones. You can have one for each entity, for example. This is exactly what I have here. I have one specific dedicated email address for all my different entities. My document is already ready to be processed, which means that Yooz already extracted the data and is asking me to process this document. Just to finish very quickly on the document capture, the collect my invoice is what I explained to you. So you can create an access to different supplier portal, which is very convenient. You don't have to go every month anymore to download new invoices. You are 100% autonomous on that. So you just go here, you say, I want to create an access to, I don't know, British Gas, for example. I will put my username, my password, and I will say, okay, Yooz, can you please go on my British Gas account every 10 days, for example, and grab any new invoice that have been released. So I don't have to do it anymore. And you can do that for a lot of different supplier portal. I think for the UK, we have more than 500 available. And if you don't have the portal available here, then you can add it. So that's not a problem. And just to finish very quickly, duplicate detection will be right here. And you can say, okay, Yooz, I want you to reject any document that has the same vendor, the same document number, and the same document date, regardless of the channel capture. So this was the first main module, the capture from Yooz. So now we are going to focus on the invoices once they've been captured. So you can see in my dashboard that I have my two documents that we captured together, flagged in red. So the first one, this one, is a non-PO based invoice. So my task is review. So just to give you a little bit of context, this is the very first time ever that I received this invoice into the platform. So that's why I need to review this document, because Yooz needs me to confirm what is the correct GL account, what is the correct cost center or department that goes with this invoice. So Yooz can remember for next time the correct coding of this invoice. And the goal is to have the document already completed by Yooz next time I capture an invoice from the same vendor, so I don't have to do it again. And Yooz will automate between 80 to 90% of your incoming documents thanks to machine learning. So if we want to see how it looks like, just as a reminder, I didn't do anything yet. This is Yooz who did everything. Okay, so Yooz identified my supplier. If you click here, you will have from Sage Intacct and Sage 200 all the list of your existing vendors. If you want to create a new vendor, you just create it in Sage and it will be synchronized in real time, and you don't have to create anything within Yooz. It's a live communication between Sage 200, Sage Intacct, and Yooz, which enable you to keep Sage as the master system where you create everything, and it will be reflected in Yooz right after. So Yooz identified my vendor, even though it's the first time ever that I received this invoice. Yooz extracted the document date, the document number, the tax amount, net amount, total amount. What Yooz did, because it's the first time that I received this invoice, Yooz identified a 2-line split for the VAT. However, if I want to code differently this invoice, I can definitely overwrite what's on the document. And I can take the tax code that I need. This is the correct tax code. This is my total amount. So you see, I can extract text directly from the document. I don't even have to do anything. Up, there we go. So now everything is balanced. And what I can do, what I should do, is just confirm to Yooz what's the correct GL account, department maybe, and cost code if you need to. And maybe, I mean, you can add as many fields as you want, so it's not limited in Yooz. So I just coded my invoice in a few clicks. Also, because Yooz is reading everything, I can extract text directly from the document up, and it will instantly extract it. So it's very practical. It avoids any human mistakes by typing, and you can extract exactly what you need from the document that has been read by the system. And now, once I coded this invoice, I will click on submit, and Yooz is going to ask me, do you want Yooz to learn this data for the next document? If I click yes, next time I will receive my second invoice from this vendor, even though I have a 2-line split of the VAT, Yooz is going to do just 1 line and apply exactly the same GL account, the same department, and the same cost center. So that was the first example. If we go now on the second one, that is the second red document here, it's a PO-based invoice. So that's why the task is not review, but accounting matching. So if you click on the document, you will see that it's a little bit different. Yooz will still have identified the vendor, the document date, the document number, tax amount, total amount, and so on. And the only thing that is a little bit different is that Yooz is going to show you, hey, look, I found an open PO that was raised in Yooz or raised in Sage and imported in Sage, and we did the matching. Yooz is going to flag if there is any difference between the PO amount, the invoice amounts, and you can obviously use the workflows to decide what you want to do. If this is matching perfectly, you can also remove this review step, because you can create a workflow and say, as soon as the PO number, the PO and the invoice are matching perfectly, I don't need to approve this document because everything is matched, so I don't need to look at it. So this is the kind of workflows that you can put in place. And obviously you don't have to code the invoice because it will retrieve exactly the same information that you put at the PO level, whether it's in Sage or it's in Yooz. I will submit, and Yooz is going to tell me, hey, you have an approval workflow for this invoice, and this is Elizabeth who needs to approve it. So we've seen the capture, the smart data extraction, we've seen the PO matching, the automated GL coding. Obviously, ideally, we are going to see the approval workflows. So just to show you how it looks like, you will have different workflows for your different documents. If I go in my PO-based invoice, this is the workflow that I just described to you. I can say when this is complete at 100%, no difference between invoice amount and PO amount, I won't use to send the document directly to the end phase. But I can also say, no, whenever this is an invoice that is above £10,000, whether it's matching perfectly or not, I want to have Elizabeth approving the document. So that's why we have our PO-based invoice that have been sent to Elizabeth. You can add any other criteria. For example, you could have said when the department is equal to IT, and when the vendor is a specific one, this one, for example. So you can create as many routes as you want with as many criteria as you want within each route, and Yooz is going to check if your document belongs to this route, this route, this route, and will send it to the correct one. And obviously you can have as many steps as you want. Yooz will know when to push back the data to Sage Intacct or Sage 200, because you will generate, schedule in Yooz an automated accounting export to your ERP system. So you don't need to push any button. You don't need to say, okay, now it can be pushed into Sage. It will be done automatically. So I hope it's clear for the workflows. It's very flexible. Again, the sky is the limit in terms of criteria to be mixed and matched. So yeah, I think it's very, very important to mention this, because sometimes clients or prospects are very frustrated and limited in terms of approval workflows because they want to create specific routes that their current solution can't provide, which Yooz can. So now I'm going to log in as Elizabeth just to approve those two invoices. So as an approver, you can see that I have those two red invoices that I need to approve. So Elizabeth will receive a notification that she has two new documents to approve. She can also approve it on the Yooz mobile app. So if I take the PO-based one, before I approve, I might want to attach external documents. So maybe I want to attach a good receipt note, a picture of the computer, and maybe a picture of box damaged. It's just an example of random attachments that we can attach to the document. And now, if I'm okay with this invoice, I just can click on approve. So if I click on approve, I will have the transaction pushed into Sage straight away. And I will show you how it looks like into Sage Intacct. So we see the last point that was, it's not the last one is the vendor statement, but just to show you the transaction within Sage Intacct and how we pushes data into Sage Intacct and Sage 200. So if I go in my dashboard, accounts payable bill, there we go. I have my ComSend computer transaction here. If I click on view, I will see posting details here. So my 3-line split. I will see the PDF of the invoice pushed into Sage. I will also see the historic of my document if I want to, who approved it, who reviewed it, and I will see the attachments that I attached to my document. So it's the same for Sage 200. We will push all the attachments directly into the system. And obviously you will have all the data in Sage. And also if you go in Yooz for documents, you will have everything saved as well. If I go in, for example, vendor, and I want to see all the documents from ComSend, up, I run my search, I have my PO-based invoice here. And if I go in the audit trail, I can see exactly what I just saw in Sage Intacct. It's been approved by Ophélie, it's been reviewed by Ophélie. And if I click in the detail of the audit trail, I will see everything that happened. So that was the main feature that I wanted to show you. And the last one is the vendor statements. So if I impersonate and I log in as vendor statement reconcilier, so we have different roles again. So this user has a specific role. His role is to reconcile vendor statements with invoices within the system. So you see his dashboard is completely different. And then if he goes in his task, he will have a vendor statement that is waiting to be reviewed. If he clicks on the documents, what we are going to see is the statement itself. So Yooz is capable of capturing different type of documents. Yooz will identify the vendor. Again, Yooz will identify the document date, the total amount of the statements. And then what Yooz will do for you instantly, Yooz is going to check on the line by line level all the information on the vendor statement and check if this is a match with one of the invoices that have been captured within Yooz. So for example, if I'm working on this line, I don't have to search on the document where it is. Yooz is going to tell me this is the line that you are working on right now. So that's very practical when you have a document of, I don't know, 20 or 100 lines of data. This one, for example, I can contact my supplier directly from Yooz and I can say, I am missing, so I can type his email address, or I can, if I have the email address directly in Yooz, it will be popping up. And I can say in the attachment that I want to attach the vendor statement and inform that I'm missing one of the invoice number 201. And this one is also an example of mismatch. Here, if I click on the line, it says 4,210 pounds, when here it says 4,120. So either the error is coming from the supplier on the statement or on the invoice that I captured. But in any case, I need to inform my supplier that there is a mismatch with this specific invoice. So Yooz will help you in just 1 minute to reconcile with all the captured invoices with the vendor statement and inform if we are missing invoices or if there is a mismatch. And it will also provide you an idea of what is the current process of the document, if this is waiting to be reviewed, if this is a paid document, and so on and so on.
Philly, we've had a question come through.
Yes.
So how does Yooz deal with automatic capturing and OCR for any handwritten or potentially like non-pure PDF documents in terms of being able to capture those, maybe things that are a little bit more obscure?
So to be very transparent, handwritten, we usually don't read handwritten, especially that this is always bad handwritten. So handwritten, it's not going to be accurate, or maybe it will detect something, but you know, sometimes it's really bad. Unless this is a number, then sometimes Yooz will read it. But if this is just handwritten, like you put on the document something on top of the document, then it won't be read. However, if this is an Excel spreadsheet, a document that has been scanned many times, as soon as this is something that is readable by Yooz, then it's going to detect it, unless this is very, very dark, because in that case, Yooz will struggle to identify where the characters are. But for example, if I go here on expense, I think I have an example of an Excel file or a statement. Right? Yes. So here, for example, this is not a PDF. This is just an Excel file that have been captured. And also here you have, for example, a receipt that have been captured. So you can see, sorry, let me just zoom in a little bit up. You can see that Yooz will read some words when it's readable, but not everything. When it's very small or very, very blurry, then it might struggle a little bit, to be honest. But it's very, very difficult. Here, this example, it's a receipt that I've been, you know, it's very old. And for example, if I go here, you see it doesn't read the lunch 6 people. So to be honest, I think handwritten, I would say no.
And obviously you mentioned before as well, in terms of the non-pure PDF documents, obviously it's converting everything into a PDF.
Yes.
For the system, but that source document could be a long list of different types of documents, from image documents right the way through to Excel, Word, and other formats.
Yes, it can be any format. Yooz is going to convert into a PDF, and if you capture, for example, a PDF with several documents within the PDF, we have on the capture here, the Yooz Smart Split. So if you have, for example, a zip file or a merged PDF with many different documents or several attachments in one same email, Yooz is going to capture everything and read everything, and will ask you to validate the split, but Yooz is going to split the document by itself, because it's going to read the header and the footer, and is going to detect when it's the beginning and when it's the end of the document. But obviously you can ask Yooz to verify the split before it creates the document. And if you have some documents that are not relevant, they shouldn't be in use, then they will be pulled into a question mark folder, and you can delete all the documents before it goes into a specific process, and it won't count as a document processed within the system.
Perfect. I think that the question's got a thumbs up as to the answer, so feel free to finish off where you're up to.
Okay, perfect. So I was almost finished, to be honest. I just wanted to do a quick zoom on the reports. So as I said, if you type, for example, banana, then Yooz is going to find you any document that has the keyword banana somewhere. So here up, I have my banana keyword. And also in terms of security, because we talked about this, if I go in my task, I have this example. Yooz is going to also secure the banking information. So here, for example, I have a bank details that is different from what I have imported from Sage than what's on the document. So Yooz is going to flag this kind of issues. So what you can do in that case, you can block temporarily the document. You can say it's in dispute, verifying bank details. And then you can contact your supplier directly from Yooz and ask upstream did you change your bank details or not? And then depending on the answer, you just go and update the banking information into Sage, which will be reflected in Yooz, and then you can proceed with the document. So the goal of Yooz is really to flag in advance any issues, any mismatch, any error. Sometimes Yooz is going to alert you when this is an unusual amount as well. If you receive an invoice of £100,000, it's not usual for this vendor, then it will alert you and it will ask you to review the amount of the invoice before you proceed. And just to finish very quickly, sorry about that. I think on the vendor, where is it? Up. We have now trust index for the vendor. So the more documents you process for a vendor, the higher the index, the trust index will be. Let me see if this is here. Up. Do I have it here? Yes, confidence index. So the more document you process from a specific vendor, the higher this confidence index will be. And you can use this index in the workflows as well. So you can say, I want to have an automated push of the document into Sage for all the vendors that has a confidence index above 20, for example. And as soon as it drops again 20, below 20, then I want to start reviewing the documents of this vendor. So you can use this kind of trust index to automate even more your document, because if this is, for example, LinkedIn, you have a subscription every month, then the trust index is, I don't know, 30, for example. So you don't verify, but as soon as you have an unusual amount, it's an error, then Yooz is going to drop the confidence index, and then it will send it for review. Perfect. I'm checking the timing. I think it's fine, 47 minutes.
Yeah, you done really well on the timing. Covered a lot in a short period of time.
Yes.
And I think one question that I did have, Philly, was you mentioned earlier in terms of like obviously you have a very progressive roadmap with the solution in terms of the development, and obviously with things like automation, there's a lot of things that can you know, have those I guess quick wins as well for end users. So what could you give us a little bit of an insight of some of the things that have been developed? Obviously you just mentioned the confidence index, but maybe things that are also a little bit on the horizon that are obviously kind of rolled out, and obviously because it's an online based piece of software. Yes. So those things just continually kind of extra features get added all the time.
Exactly. So in terms of features coming up for this year, one of the most important, so I have two that comes to my mind. The first one is the Yooz Pay, which is basically the possibility to pay directly from Yooz. So if you want to pay your invoices, so basically you will have the submit button, the approval button, and then the pay button. So you can pay directly from Yooz without logging in onto the bank, because it will be synchronized with the bank. You will have a virtual wallet. This is something that we have already available on the US side, because it was a little bit easier with the US bank account. And it's coming for this year in the UK. We just needed a little bit more time with the Swift code to identify, but this is coming this year. And the second one is the line by line reading. So if you have an invoice with, I don't know, 50 different lines, then Yooz will be able to read each line. So basically what I showed you for the vendor statement, the line by line reconciliation, it will be applied at the invoice level for all the invoices that you have coming into the system. And you don't need to have a PO to have all the lines popping up. It will be a line by line reading for any invoices that comes into the system, and you will be able to have all the line retrieved, because Yooz is going to read each line by itself.
Fantastic. We've had another question just come through on the Q&A in regards to cost centers. In terms of so Julie's asked, they have around about 150 cost centers that are identified by branch address. How would you deal with that number, and obviously identifying them via the address as well?
Yes, so Yooz will have no issues working with more than 100 cost center. That's totally fine. And then they will be identified by branch. So you mean this is a dedicated if I understand correctly the question, this is dedicated to specific branch address. So Yooz will have what we call a data relationship. So for example, if you have an invoice that comes in, Yooz is going to read the invoice, detect for which branch address it should be allocated to. And then we will have cost centers popping up only related to this specific branch address. So this is what we call data relationship. When you have a specific branch, then it will propose only the cost center related to this specific branch. So this is what we call data relationship, and how Yooz is going to identify the branch thanks to the identification data. And then you will define the correct cost center, and then it will remember automatically.
Yeah, I think hopefully that's answered your question there, Julie. So I think if there are no more questions, we'll hang around for a couple of minutes. But thank you very much this morning for that run through. It's been really insightful, and obviously looking at leveraging that power of the automation, and obviously bringing that whole AP process from capture right the way through to, as you say there, through to eventually through to payment. A huge kind of time save and effort as well in terms of the understanding of bringing it all together. So it's thank you very much for that this morning, Philly.
Sorry, Michael, can I just take 2 more minutes to share a video? It's a very quick video because I don't have a direct access to Sage 200, but I think it's very important to share also how data will be pushed into Sage 200. So this is the invoice within Yooz that will be coded again. So we will have the different cost center, the different departments. And then when you submit, then obviously Yooz is going to push this invoice, this transaction into Sage 200. And I really want to show you how it will look like once it's pushed into Sage 200, because I just showed it into Sage Intacct, but I didn't show it on Sage 200. So you will have a transaction that is popping up here. You will see the posting, the nominal in Sage 200 of this invoice. And obviously, if you click on attached document, then Yooz is going to push also the PDF of the invoice into Sage 200. So it's the same concept as for Sage Intacct, but I wanted to share this video to see how it looks like from Sage 200. Sorry about this.
Yeah, no, fantastic. Appreciate that. Amazing. Well, there's nothing more come through on the Q&A.
Perfect.
So we will hang fire for a couple of minutes, but if people will have seen enough, I think the next stages for this, obviously more an in-depth personal demonstration if they so require and request, and reaching back out to the account management team, and they'll be able to support from there.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I will just cut my mic and my camera in case there is a further question. And then thank you so much for this. And if you want to have a Julie, if you want to have more insight about Yooz, and if you have some specific requirements, obviously Yooz is completely flexible. We have a team of 18 international project managers working every day to help companies streamline their processes. So do not hesitate to ask for more information to me directly or to you, and then you will do the in between.